Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Clone Wars Commentary. I'm your host Cheyenne, and I'm joined today by Brody. Say hi, Brody.
What's up, guys?
Blessed to have him back and to fully dive into this arc. Our next arc is the Citadel arc of Season 3. That's episodes 18 through 20 for those of you tracking it or just not quite sure. We'll be kind of going through each of the episodes and trying not to do a play-by-play of what happens, but also just enough to where you understand it. But Brody, before we started, said he has a story that goes along with this arc. So Brody, I'm going to hand this to you, and I want you to kick it off with that.
So, we all know that this arc, the Citadel arc, is really dark. And, a lot of messed up stuff happens in it, a lot of stuff that, would be considered violent and stuff. So, one day, I was with my mom, I was in her room, and she's got a TV in there, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to introduce my mom to one of my favorite shows, Star Wars The Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And we tuned in on the last episode of the arc, where everything is kind of really sad and really messed up.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, you watch this show? So for the longest time, my mom had like a really bad mojo with like a really bad energy with Clone Wars for the longest time until once Rogue One came out, I was just like, hey, want to try watching Star Wars Clone Wars with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. I just remember it being really scary. And the entire time we were having a good time until we reached the Citadel arc. And she was like, it's really messed up, man.
Oh, no.
And I'm getting flashbacks.
Poor Mom.
Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. I still live in your house as of this recording. So it's not like you're gone or anything. You're still here. I just want to say I love you, Mom.
Shout out to Mom. Oh my god.
Shout out to all those cool moms out there. All those bad moms. Be better moms.
Oh my god.
But cool moms?
Cool moms? Yeah. Not a regular mom, a cool mom. That's a cute story.
Regular moms that don't have the energy to be super cool, you can still give respect because they still do a lot.
Still a mom.
Still do a lot.
Still doing it.
They're still doing the mom work, but when you're just a really bad mom, that's when Kessel Run Weekly got to step in and say,
"Oh my god!"
I officially hereby declare that Kessel Run Weekly officially makes a statement on bad moms. Thumbs down emoji.
Not the movie, just the act of being a bad mom. There's Bad Moms movies. It's got.
I don't remember.
It's got.
I don't know Bad Moms.
Oh my god! What is her name? Ashton Kutcher's wife. Jackie from That 70s Show.
I never watched that.
Oh my god. Okay, well, somebody that's listening to this is probably yelling at me, and they're like, what's her face?
That's always the thing, I even find myself yelling at myself, because I'm like, it's this!
You idiot!
But when you're listening, we can't rewind, and look back on our stuff. If I go off the track, it's like, I totally forgot what I was saying. Mm-hmm. And you could go back and be like, oh, you were saying this. Well, thanks. Let me change the recording to add my input.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Not something we could do in the realm of podcast. Maybe we'll mention it in a future one.
Yeah, we'll be like, you remember when I said it this time at this one in this podcast? And we'll be like, no.
No.
No, but go ahead.
Okay, then it's not important.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it anyway.
Oh my god. Ridiculous. Okay, let's get into this. The Citadel arc starts with episode 18, perfectly entitled The Citadel. And the fortune cookie for this one is adaptation is the key to survival. So with that in mind, Brody, what Star Wars moment besides this arc do you think of first when you hear adaptation is the key to survival?
I would say all of The Last Jedi. Because that is just completely adapting, because at first, it's just oh god, we gotta adapt to the situation because we're escaping Takar. Mm-hmm. We gotta leave. And then it's oh, there's a dreadnought, we gotta adapt to that. They blow that up. And it's alright, we adapted over that. And then the Supremacy bursts out of hyperspace, oh god, we gotta adapt over this. So Finn and Rose go to Canto Bight, and that whole mission goes on.
That's a whole adaptation in and of itself.
Rey's got to adapt to becoming the new Jedi with Luke Skywalker.
You're right.
I'd say that movie is all about adapting because, like, none of them are prepared for any of this. At least, like, when Luke Skywalker did the trench run, he knew what he was getting into.
That's fair.
He saw the blueprints.
There was a plan, and the plan was executed and shared.
Exactly, you know, like, he wasn't the only one doing the mission. There was a team. There was a team behind it that planned it, strategized.
Yeah.
But in The Last Jedi, nothing was planned, and the entire time, you know, General Holdo's just like, crap, and Poe Dameron's just like, crap. Like, they're just running around. I was just about to say, like, they stick their heads in the sand like ostriches, but do they actually do that? Or is that like a cartoon thing?
Oh, ostriches? I don't know. I don't know. I want to say yes. I feel bad as our local animal expert, but I don't know. All right, viewers, you're going to join us on the journey. Before we start this review, we're going to look Google. I'm going to do voice to text. Do ostriches stick their heads in the sand? Just Google it. Anakin
Despite popular misconceptions, ostriches do not stick their heads in the sand. This myth originated in ancient Rome and is so pervasive that it's used as a common metaphor for someone avoiding their problems. Oh, wow. That's weird.
To be fair, ostriches do not avoid their problems, so that would be not beneficial to them to stick their heads in the sand. They just attack their problems.
That is true. Have you ever seen a cassowary? That's like a death ostrich.
They're the worst.
They are so scary. Like, it's like if I were to encounter, or the least that I would want to encounter, if it was a bear, a gorilla, or a cassowary, I would not want to see the cassowary the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at least, like, if I saw a bear or a gorilla, at least, like, you know, either I have a chance of escaping or a chance of dying faster.
I would love to see a bear. I would not want to see a gorilla up close ever.
A gorilla can absolutely just snap you in half.
Yeah.
It's just like a giant human.
Even the ones in Animal Kingdom, like, I'll just watch them, because you can just watch them from afar, and it's like when all of the males, because basically they have, like, a male group, and then they have, like, family group, and the male group, they'll just, there was this one time, okay, you know that audio?
Hold on, wait, are we going to get some Disney Insider exclusive?
No, not really.
Has this been, like, exposed before? Yeah,
this is a guest experience that I had. I was just at Animal Kingdom as a guest this time, and the gorillas were just sitting in a circle, and it's like these big silverbacks are just like sitting there. And at this point, they all had developed their silverbacks, so they're all pretty big, because they're at that like age, and they're all just sitting there in a circle with their big gorilla arms. I know nobody can see me but you, but still.
No, everyone could get the idea.
Everyone gets the idea.
Everyone knows what gorilla arms look like.
Yeah, and I was just, like, walking by, like, looking at the gorillas. I looked at the family on one side, and then you turn to the other side, and there's, like, 4 of them sitting there, and I was like, are they about to fight? I was like, what's gonna happen? Are they just staring at each other? Are they sharing a moment? And then I didn't record it, and I should have, but you know that audio on TikTok that's like, Dorime?
Yeah.
It would have been so perfect for that, because that's exactly how it felt.
They were just standing off?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I think I asked someone that day, but I forgot entirely what they said. But I mean, gorillas are so strange in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, they like exemplify. Apes. Yeah, they like don't really exemplify like what we think they're exemplifying until it happens. You know what I mean? So, like, that could have been one of anything. They could have just all been chilling, and that happened to be where they sat down. It could have been, like, who's the alpha? The alpha's not here right now. What do we do? Something like that. And I don't think they don't necessarily have an alpha, so I don't want anybody to take that out of context. But gorilla behavior is weird to me. I don't like them, so I don't
Gorillas
look
and monkeys are, like, the craziest thing to me, because, like, they're just so close to human.
Yeah,
like, they just look like little freaky humans, like... Honestly, if there was no, like, automatic, like, World of Warcraft version of, like, a goblin or, like, an ogre, I would totally think of, like, a little monkey and a gorilla. Because that's really what they are. Like, if you just described an ogre, like, oh, it's like a person but really big and has crazy muscles and has like a stern look.
Yeah.
That's a gorilla.
A gorilla.
Like, if I saw a gorilla in the wild after being told what an ogre was, I'd be like, that's an ogre.
That's an ogre.
That's straight up an ogre.
That's not a gorilla. Yeah, I don't love monkeys. They kind of scare me.
Monkeys are so scary because you never know what they could do. They could... I've seen videos of, like, funny monkeys, like, riding motorcycles and crashing them, and I'm just like, Well, not like a dangerous accident, like a motorcycle and just hits, like, a crate or something.
Yeah, and they're just like,
but
what
then
happened?
There's also reports of, like, monkeys completely eviscerating people, and I'm like, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Death by monkeys.
Have you seen the videos of, we're totally losing track of our brains right now, but anyways.
Sorry, this has become the Monkey Podcast.
Monkey Podcast.
Starring, Monkey Cheyenne and Monkey Brody.
There's videos of the monkeys in Thailand. That's probably the wrong country. But the monkeys that basically people moved in, you know, and they live on their land, and the monkeys are like, well, we're going to live here too. And they steal food and like baggage and stuff. And I've seen some of the like aggressive clips of the monkeys there, and it's terrifying. And people do not handle it properly there, so that's not good. So that's a whole other podcast,
you
but
just can't go into the street and beat up monkeys. That's like beating little people.
Yeah, stop being mean to animals, y'all. Don't be mean to animals.
You know that they could mess you up.
That's not nice. Time. Yeah, animals are aggressive because we exist, and we're in their way. Exactly. So they're not aggressive out of pure meanness.
Just try to be nice to animals.
Be nice to animals.
Defend yourself when you can, but if you know there's a fight you can't win, then just move along.
Anyways, that's the podcast. Bye.
But wait, one more thing. Yeah, thank you for watching the Monkey Podcast. Now, the last thing was, I think you're talking about the same monkeys that are from like Thailand or wherever, some kind of like East state, like an Asian country.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's some Asian country.
When there was like the COVID-19 pandemic, when there was a lockdown, since so many tourists and like locals would give food to monkeys, like they relied on that food, like they didn't have any other means of getting food. Mm-hmm. So in the streets of this town, there were like thousands of monkeys having like a riot because they were like, "Where's the people? Where's the food?" And they were just like, attacking each other, and it was like really scary. And I was like, "No,
it's sad.
Somebody feed the monkeys."
Yeah, because now they have no other choice. But to feed the monkeys.
Choice but to attack each other for the munchies.
For the munchies. Oh my god. Okay.
So, what we came here for...
Insert rewind sound effect.
Like I said, I feel like we need to get like a talking podcast.
Yeah.
I want to get like a podcast where we can just talk
we just sit down and we just talk about stuff.
Just sit down and talk about stuff that is interesting to us.
Yeah, honestly, we should. We'll just like gather up monthly life updates and do a monthly talking show.
Or even that, maybe like weekly. So much stuff happens in a week if you just try to like think about it.
I'm so busy. I'm so busy.
Well, exactly. You could talk about how busy you were and talk about all the little events. I could tell you all the little fun things that happened at work today. You know?
I don't have anything like that.
True.
Mine's, I went to work, I came home, I went to bed. And that is me being busy.
Yeah, I saw a stray Mickey glove on the floor, and I was like, what?
It was abandoned in the middle of Main Street.
It was abandoned. Mickey was like, no thanks, and just dropped it.
Oh my god.
Or he held a knife with that,
oh my god.
Like, gotta drop it! Put it on the ground and ran. It's like,
oh no.
Oh look, Mickey's glove, I'll put it on.
Oh,
freeze!
it's the FBI! Oh my god, I broke Brody.
Oh god, I need water. I'm so dehydrated. I have not been drinking enough water. I've just been so distracted. I haven't had enough time to really sit down and enjoy a glass.
Well, enjoy a glass right now. I'm leaving that sound effect in there.
What?
The sound of you drinking water.
Oh, I thought you meant the FBI open up. No,
I'm definitely leaving that in there.
Drinking sound. Actually, can you like... I don't know if you have the editing skills, but can you like amplify it by like 3 times just so it's
probably
like, slightly louder than everything?
It'll be like driving to work and they'll be so uncomfortable.
Because I do listen to podcasts at work. I listen to them on my way. I'm driving to long drives, and sometimes when just crazy stuff happens in podcasts, I'm like, "Was that
what was that?"
So yeah, we're about like 10 minutes in.
Yeah,
and we haven't talked. We've only talked about the name of this episode.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the episode.
Let's talk about the episode. So following Mortis, we're back. Everybody, we're back. Following Mortis, the Mortis arc. This episode to me originally it seemed so like minuscule, because I was like, oh, it's just another adventure, and we're learning more about a new Jedi Council member. Not a new one, but one that we've only seen in like Phantom Menace or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was standing next to little Annie.
Yeah, and but watching it again, it definitely made me think more about Ahsoka. I know her role isn't like huge in this one, but it's still pretty significant as far as like the meaning behind it. I think
it's very significant because you know so much wouldn't have happened in that episode if Ahsoka wasn't around.
That's fair, and I think about things like that too, as far as like, well, what if she hadn't gone? You know, and they would have had to improvise. They would have had to make it work. You know. So that also leads me to believe, like, what other kind of adventure it would have been. Probably harder than it already was, and it was pretty hard to begin with.
She didn't get to event when it was ray shielded.
Yeah,
exactly. They didn't have any other way of getting through. No way. With time allowed. And even think, if Ahsoka wasn't there, even Paul probably would have lost his other eye, because they would have been, like, a few seconds behind.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, too... And I know that we don't get this for whatever reason, just because it's the Anakin and Obi-Wan show. But Yoda could have gone and fit in the vent.
He could have.
I know they didn't plan on that, but still. Well, and they did see it because...
How often do we see Yoda out in the battlefield?
That's what I'm saying. Give me more Yoda in the battlefield.
Become more of like a politician. You know?
He did, and it's so sad. He didn't want that life. He didn't ask for that.
One of the only missions that he went on was, like, in the first episode of, like, the first season.
Mm-hmm. And then the Geonosis fight he had with Dooku in the movies.
Yeah, but I mean in Clone Wars. And then in the last arc of Season 6. Mm-hmm. When he went to, like, the Force Nexus, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was it for, like, the Yoda Chronicles.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why LEGO made the Yoda Chronicles, to compensate for the lack of Yoda in the Clone Wars?
Maybe. I've only seen the LEGO Holiday Special. I haven't seen any other LEGO Star Wars, so I will watch that.
Has there been a discussion post, or a discussion podcast of the LEGO Holiday Special?
No, but we should do that.
I'd love to do that. Let's do a double feature after this. After this recording, we'll just record another one for the.
If we have time, we totally can. I don't actually know if I ever finished it, but I'll let you do most of the talking if we do that. The only reason I say I might not have. The only reason I say I might not have time is because my mom will be home soon. But if we don't get to it today, we definitely should get to it sometime in the next week or two, before the year ends, so that it can be like the end of the year episode for the main show.
I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts. There's one about like 2 gamer comedians that I've been listening to every day when I make like chips at work.
Nice.
I work at Chipotle at this time. I have a lot of great stories with Chipotle that I'd love to talk about in a talking podcast. But what's it now?
Okay.
I've been studying up on how to actually do a podcast. So I can actually, like, make conversations.
Nice. Honestly, I go through the same thing periodically because, like, that, and that's why I let us do our tangents, because I feel like when I listen to podcasts, I like the tangents because I find them funny. It brings the humor into it.
And it also kind of brings character, you know? We're not just, like, hello, I am reviewer 1 and I'm reviewer 2. We're going to be talking about this. We give our own little insights and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I kind of wanted to make sure that people were aware of, because I didn't know until this rewatch, is what the Citadel actually is, which is technically, I don't know what the original purpose was, but I do know that in this episode they describe it as something that was made for, like, a prison of Jedi. Anakin says, like, it's made to hold us for whenever we, are turning from the light or something like that, or losing our way, I think is how he worded it. Which is interesting because that means it was there for that, but that the Separatists took it over to be what it currently is in this episode, I guess? Yes? Am I wrong? Am I right?
I think he meant, like, Jedi who lost their way. That means, like, Jedi who have been, like, lost. Like, not to the dark side, but they were just like, what? Oh no, I got captured by the Separatists, and there's no way of them saving me. Like, I think the reason why they did go to the Citadel in the first place was because of Ibn Pol's importance. Because I think maybe, like, the Republic was just like, oh, if they go to the Citadel, that's it. You know, like, because they mentioned, like, like, Mace Windu was like, nobody's ever escaped that prison.
Yeah, they're like, never coming back, or whatever.
Like, you're never coming back. And I think that just comes from experience, because they probably tried to save Jedi before at the Citadel, but lost them. And they were like, crap, well, if one goes there, we just can't go there. And then Evan Pohl gets captured and is like, crumbs.
Yeah, they're like, well, now we have to.
Now we gotta, because he's got special hyperspace stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good interpretation, because that's not where my brain went. Because I literally yelled. I was like, then why didn't they put Anakin there? And my brain, like, wasn't logically thinking about what the episode was actually about. I was like, why didn't we imprison him for a little bit and talk him out of it? But that's just me and my issues of him turning to the dark side.
Because he's a rambunctious little boy.
Yeah, true.
And he's a chosen one. You don't want to lock up the chosen one.
Can't lock up the chosen one.
That's going to create more mental issues.
That is blasphemy, if you will. So the way that they get there is they freeze themselves in carbonite. I thought that this was super interesting because they're not in it long enough to get carbon sickness, I guess. I say I guess because that's the only other explanation for not getting it.
Yeah, they say, like, the longer you're in there and the longer your, like, autonomic nerve functions are, like down. Not working, they shut down, like,
so
for
that
a while.
Makes sense,
like,
then.
It's like, you know, when, I don't know if you know exactly, but you know how when people, you know, they get, like, really beat up or something, like, they can't see, they can barely talk, they can't move. It's because, like, for a moment,
your body is, like, shutting down.
Their body is shut down to the point where they just are, like, not able to move. Like, the only thing that the brain can operate is, like, the heart. Okay. And, like, the maybe, like, most of the time it's the mouth, so people talk. They're just like, I can't see, I can't move, I can't feel.
It hurts, help me.
Sometimes they're not even, like, it doesn't even hurt. Like, I just cannot move. And, like, it's scary. But it's something to recover from.
Yeah, regardless. And I thought it was cool that, like, I mean, Anakin and Obi-Wan just seemed so zen when they, like, accepting. Even just their faces in the carbonite as well. And I wonder if that just, like, if they had to just maybe calm themselves with the Force. But then I wrote that and thought that before I noticed kind of how, it seemed like Rex, like, kind of reacted when it went off, but then when they offload them, the clones also seem pretty zen, so it could or could not have, but I figured I'd throw that out into the world for interpretation.
Or maybe just Han Solo's, like, a little coward. He's like, no! Like, as he gets frozen.
He's a big baby.
He's a big baby man.
You know what I'm tired about Han Solo? This is my last tangent, I promise.
His big baby man energy went to Ben.
Yeah, I keep getting told, and I know that Han is a Leo. I know that he has other options, like Aries. I know. But, as a Leo, I don't want to identify with Han. Okay? Everybody stop saying that Han's a Leo. It's stressing me out.
Did they say that Chewie is a Taurus? I feel like Chewie's a Taurus.
Yes, but also probably he's definitely got another option. I just can't think of it right now.
Because I'm a Taurus and I love Chewie.
He is a Taurus in ways.
Who would be like the definitive Taurus of Star Wars?
Oh my god.
Welcome to Star Wars Zodiacs with Brody and Cheyenne. Today we're going to talk about what is Chewbacca and what is Taurus.
Oh my god. I only know one Taurus, to be fair. So a lot of the things that I have to base my brain, my astrology brain is based off of the people that I know and the signs, not my necessary research into the signs. I'm a Taurus,
so if that helps.
So 2 Tauruses. I know one other Taurus. I would say yes, but I also, like, there's another one and I can't decide if it is... No, it's not Cancer. I was going to say Cancer. He's not a Cancer. I'll do more research and then we'll come back with astrology with Brody and Cheyenne. So let's jump right in with a character highlight, which, you know, I typically do for Clone Wars commentary. And obviously this one is going to be on Evan Peel. It's spelled
Evan
even.
Peel. I've been saying Evan Pohl.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it.
God. Wow.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch it. I was just like, yeah.
In the galaxy.
I'm sorry.
Yep, that's his name.
I know. Well, and that's just how I read it, because to be fair, his name is spelled even. It's not even. It's not pronounced even, but it's spelled that way. And it's Piell. So
Evan.
Who knows? So Evan Peel is from Lannick, with a K. He is 1.22 meters tall.
What a shrimp!
He's so small.
Small man.
Where is this? He was on the Jedi Council during the invasion of Naboo in the Clone Wars, as we know. He is considered brusque, bellicose, and even gruff, and nonetheless respected for his immense courage. I'm trying to make sure that I don't read things that you guys probably already know. The planet that they are on, just in case we were confused, is Lola Sayu. That's where the Citadel is. And this is really his experiences this episode, as far as what we know about it, and him standing next to Anakin at the end of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, we see him stand next to Anakin.
And I notice him more now because I'm more into everything else instead of just staring at Anakin and Padme. So that's helpful. I'm gonna hand this topic over to you really quick. I would love to know your thoughts on Captain Tarkin's and Anakin's relationship.
So, I feel like it makes sense because, Anakin wasn't adopted into the ways of, the Jedi life. He was born in the rough and tough, everyone for themselves. The attitude of everybody for themselves, Tatooine, and had to probably duke it up with Sebulba, but he's had a hard knock life as a little tow-headed little baby boy. I don't know if that's a bad term, tow-headed, because it just means blonde, but I think it's an offensive term for blonde. I don't think so. I'm gonna Google that real quick. No, it's not an insult. Alright, cool. I thought I just said a really bad insult, but it's not. I said towhead, which is a blonde person because toe is yellow. It's hair.
It sounds mean.
It sounds very mean because you think you towhead.
Yeah.
I was talking about little Annie.
Little Annie. Oh my god, my computer.
And I wanted to say bowl haircut looking coconut head, but what?
Sorry, my computer was doing something funny.
Uh-oh. Is it still recording?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay, good. I just want to make sure.
I know, I panicked for a second.
And Anakin's probably lived with the mentality of rough and tough, everyone for themselves, except for my mommy. I think of it.
Yeah, except for mom.
Yeah. But then he left his mama, and then she got killed by Tusken Raiders,
oh my God.
Who are now cool guys because of the Mandalorian.
Maybe they were always cool, and we just didn't know.
Anyways. Maybe Shmi Skywalker was being a total jerk to some Tusken Raiders. Just one day on the farm, they were just they probably brought a fruit basket over. It was in the subtitles, he brought you a fruit basket as a sign of good faith, and it's
and she panicked and ran inside, and they were
Creed, kill him, and just oh dang it! All right, we'll show her some respect. Come on, let's show her where we made this fruit basket. And then Anakin up and whacked them all.
Oh no! Oh my god! Okay.
Animals.
Like animals.
Like animals.
Slaughtered them like animals. Let me pull up my little info again. Okay, so
I think it makes sense because he's kind of always had gripes with the Jedi Order, especially since the Jedi didn't save Anakin from slavery. That's something that they didn't do, or they didn't do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And Anakin's got his gripes because, like, since we're so peaceful, we could even see how on his solo missions he gets pretty intense. He goes against the code. Yeah. Especially in the last season when he goes up against Admiral Trench.
Yeah.
Shanks them all up.
All his gripes are valid, and when they're not heard, that's the reason that
valid,
he is
Anakin.
the way. Yeah, is the way that he is. So I think their relationship is interesting in this. I know I kind of jumped ahead some other things that I wanted to touch on, but I think their relationship in this is interesting not only because I'm currently like personally going through some confidence issues of like standing up for myself, because like in my daily life and more so, I know what I'm doing, you know, and sometimes I forget that, or I forget that I'm allowed to say that and act that way. And a lot of people do as well. I know I'm not the only one. And I feel like the interaction between Anakin and Tarkin was really like centering for me in that validity that I haven't been feeling. In the fact that like Tarkin was all sassy with him, and then he was like, actually, you'll earn my respect when you show me gratitude. I know he didn't say it like that, but the respect and gratitude concept to me was nice because people don't do that anymore. They don't respect each other, and they're not grateful either. And I think that respect goes both ways. It is earned. And in this little adventure that they have, they earn each other's respect, which we'll find out is later on important in life. And it makes me think about...
dies on the Death Star, that's Dennis.
Except that sucks. But it makes me... I'm just now thinking about this now that I'm talking about it out loud, but you know when they meet with the council, and it's Darth Vader and him, and he's like choking the guy, and Tarkin's like, let him go. But not in like a mean way, but in like a I'm in charge and so are you kind of way.
He's like,
that makes me think back to this. He's like, come on. You can't do that. And Anakin's like, fine.
Come here.
Okay, I won't.
Come here. Drop it. Drop it.
Yeah.
Good boy.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I wanted to just drop some knowledge on these other two things. The Nexus trade route and OC Sobek. The Nexus trade route, my first question, when they kept talking about how it's secret, I'm like, then how do you know what it's called? They're like, the secret Nexus trade route. And I'm like, what? How is it a secret? I know they don't know where it is, so I swear I'm not dumb. I was just like...
because it went near something like with the Nexus.
But it's...
like,
what?
But hold on, wait.
What?
Do you know what a Nexus is?
I don't know what a Nexus is. I didn't know that.
I'm going to Google what a Nexus is.
Oh, okay. I mean,
definition
the trade route itself was on its way to Core Worlds and Outer Rim territories. So that's why it was important.
Here we go. A connection or series of connections linking two or more things. Okay, so that makes sense.
So they named it because they knew that it would connect more than just like two specific trade locations. It connected, these are the junctions, the Corellian Run, the Matelos trade route, the Namadi corridor, and the Perlemian trade route.
Wow, so it's got like 4 of them all right there.
Yeah.
So that makes sense because, planning a star chart is incredibly complicated because, it's like if you have like 1 inch off, you'll catapult yourself right to a star, just like Han Solo says. Exactly. So once you find, that perfect alignment of like, oh, I can go this straight perfectly. Excuse me. I could, if I go this exact way and there's no stars in the way, I can make it to the core worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think hyperspace travel is such an interesting thing. Anyways.
It's so interesting, and I love it. I love the idea, and I don't care what people say, I love Purgle. I love Purgle.
Same.
They're great.
Me too. Maybe there are space whales that we don't know about, and that's why we don't know how to hyperspace travel. Anyways.
I totally think... Oh, it's not like, there's totally aliens out there, man. There are bugs, but I think, the universe is so big. There's got to be something like that. Like, technically, the universe is infinite, so the possibilities are infinite.
Exactly.
So that's my stand on things.
Yeah, same. Aliens are real, including OC Sobek. Wow, what a segue!
Wow, gosh! 2 wheels and handlebars. That's a segue.
I
there.
drive the Dapper Dans on the Main Street trolley, and sometimes they'll be like, hey fellas, it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas, or look a lot like Christmas, and then the other guy is like, it's beginning to look like a Segway, and then they start the song, and it's really cute. I love when they do that.
At first I thought you were going to say that the Dapper Dan started riding Segways.
No.
Like Walmart Mall Carp, just like...
That would be so
like,
funny.
Hello.
Oh my god. That would be so funny. You know what? They're so talented that I would not be surprised that they could do that. They can tap dance and play a really cool, like, organ instrument. I don't know what it's called.
I love the Dapper Dans.
It's very
but
specific.
The saddest thing is, like, do they have a schedule?
Yes.
For, like, when they come out? Because I've never found it.
Oh.
And I've only seen them, like, once, and it was, like, the best time of my life. And I'm like, oh, God, the Dapper Dans.
They have a schedule now. I don't know what it was like before. Because I was the same way. Like, I did never... They do have sets... because that's what keeps them on schedule. So we have them 3 times in the morning right now, and then they have, I think, 2 or 3 sets on the train station as well. So it's pretty cool. So I missed my segue, but back to my segue. Aliens are real, and so is Osi Sobek. Osi Sobek is the fiery, tempered, and cruel warden of the Citadel. He... said Sobek did what he could to please his new master, Count Dooku. I don't know how he became under Count Dooku, like what his transition was. He is a Findian, Phindian. His weapon of choice...
Moralo Val, right?
What? Yeah.
Like, Moralo Val. He's got Two-Face.
Yes.
Tattoo.
Yeah. His nose is super weird. Anyways,
He does have a weird nose.
Right? It's like bulbous. His vehicle of choice is a STAP, or a stop. Stops are lightweight reconnaissance and patrol vehicles used by the battle droids of the Trade Federation Army, incorporating repulsor lift technology. The STAP is a single trooper aerial platform, slim, agile craft sporting a pair of blaster cannons, and often deployed as support vehicles in conjunction with larger craft. End of facts.
It's really fun. I have a question.
Yes, what's up?
If you could have any, like, I don't know how you would call it, but like a small scale Star Wars ship, like a land speeder bike, like no bigger than, I guess, like an ATRT, like the little, the tiny scout walkers.
Yeah.
What ship would you have?
Let me look up the official name before I ruin it. Which one would you have while I look this up?
I don't want anything like military grade. I'd want something like casuals, but I feel like I'd want something similar to, like the land speeder from The Mandalorian, the one with, like, the one that, the Mandalorian denies at first, and it has, like, the droid sticking out of it.
Yeah, that one's cool.
And he's like, no droids. Like, I'd have that. I would have that, nice ride.
Mine is the Bloodfin, also known as Darth Maul's speeder.
Yes! Of course you picked Darth Maul's speeder.
It's so comfortable. Look at its little... circular
It does
sheet.
have a lot of seating, and it's just like...
It's so comfy.
Have you ever been...
There's probably a trunk on it.
So, at the school gym, you know how or even just like any kind of gym, wherever, they have the giant, like, foam shapes.
Giant foam shapes. Yes,
and you
I believe I know
stack them on top of each other. You can like hurtle over them. Like that's their actual purpose.
Yes, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid.
I had them in gymnastics. Yeah.
I took gymnastics when I was a kid because for some reason I was just incredibly flexible. Now I've lost all of it.
Yeah.
And now I can't do like a cartwheel without like severing my spinal discs.
Yeah.
But, so I can no longer do the reason I did it was because I wanted to do flips like a Jedi. I wanted to do front flips in the air, and back flips, and all that kind of stuff. Of course, so I could be a cool Jedi boy. So I did that, but they had the big. It was like a like a decagon, but it was like a
Was it round?
It had like a whole. Yeah, it was kind of round. It was like a big. It was just like I think it was just a big octagon. But this big octagon had a hole in the middle, and I remember I used to wedge myself in, so I was just like a little ball in it with my little arms sticking out, like my arms and legs. And my friends would push me around, and I would just spin. I'd be like,
oh my god!
It's like when people go into tires and they roll down hills.
I think I know what one you're talking about too.
It's like the slightly squishy but very firm foam, and like if you get hit by it, it hurts.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
I love that material.
They all usually hurt.
Huh?
They all hurt pretty bad.
They all hurt.
As someone who taught gymnastics for so long, getting hit with them.
Okay, quick story. I took karate once as a little boy, as a little baby boy, and there was one thing where it was like, okay, we're gonna learn self-defense from long-range weapons. So this could be like a stick, this could be like a bat. You're just gonna swing it, and it'll show you the thing. And like, I swung it, and he'd show me the block, and then he did it to me, and I blocked it or whatever, and it was like, okay, everyone stand like around the big mat while we had this big foam like stick, big foam sword kinda.
Yeah.
And one of the devices that you could literally not get hurt at all from. But there's one exception, and I'll tell you what it is. So so there was this kid. He was probably like 5, while I was like 9. So I was older than him, but I was still like a little child. And this kid had a horrible stance and was very slack with his swing. So he went a little further than it was recommended.
Oh my god.
And he swung, didn't hit the teacher who was supposed to block it. That's what the little thing was.
Yeah.
And it swung, and the perfect angle at the right height hit me directly in the junk.
Oh no.
And I collapsed. I fell to the ground, and I was just like, like I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's gonna hurt. And then when I got home, I took like a really long cold bath. And I was like, this is okay. And I went to bed that night really sore, and I didn't go to karate class the next
Ever
day.
again?
Actually, I did quit halfway through, but that wasn't the reason why.
That's okay.
It's because I was just like, I don't want to go. And I just pretended being sick. And they're like, oh, okay, then he can come in tomorrow. And I just never did. I never came back. And they're like, my parents canceled it and everything. They got like some money back.
Oh my god.
Which is good. But they were just like, yeah, but Brody doesn't want to go back anymore. It's like, oh, cool.
Oh,
We'll give you a little reimbursement.
That's usually how it works.
That's my quitter story.
Karate story. I'm a quitter story. I forgot to mention this just now with O.C. Sobek, but he also is the one with K2B4, which is the Kobe droid.
Yes.
So R.I.P. But also
isn't it one of the female model droids?
Mm-hmm.
Where it has like a slightly feminine voice.
Yeah, I was listening to that too whenever I was watching it again.
How neat.
Huh?
How neat.
I know. I love stuff like that. So the last important thing really for episode 18 is Ahsoka's conversation with Plo Koon. I feel like should not just be glanced over, which I definitely have done in the past, but she says something about how it's not up to Anakin to decide when and how and where and blah, 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 she puts herself in danger. And the pause between the two of them and just not the intensity, but the meaning behind those words, is really cool and interesting to me, because that says a lot about like his fear and need to control the lives of the people that he loves, which would have never, thought about until I really invested in Star Wars. And here I am now, every time like Ahsoka says something, or Anakin or Padme or whoever involved in his life says something about his personality or things that he says or does, I'm like, well, what could they mean by this? And then I reflect on things that we already know. Anyways, that really like struck a chord with me. Oh, and then our RIP, sorry, I was like, is
and
that
there's
it?
a little pause there.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at their phone. Or
they're all like,
did it
die? Did you die? No, I just read my notes and I pause every 20 seconds. And I say, so much. Oh my god, stop doing that. So...
Well, I was listening to a podcast and they were saying, like, a good way to not say, or like, or is
so.
just to talk slower.
Yeah, I do talk pretty fast.
It gives you more time to think about what you're going to say because it's a bit more concise and, like, the AC right there, I just said like. And once you, like, kind of notice it, oh, there it is again.
Yeah. I picked up on my a while back. I want to say a few episodes back I mentioned it before, but I seriously struggled with it in one of my episodes, and I realized, like, I don't do that when I talk to people. I don't do that when I public speak either. And I do it a lot here because I have to pause and look at my notes. And so I'm trying to figure out how can I still keep track of my brain in my notes without going, every time I look at a different bullet point. See? Because I pause and I look and I go, shoot. Yeah, it's so annoying. Anyways.
Wasn't it like that Miss Georgia or something?
I don't know.
And she was like, she was saying, like
I don't know, but that sucks for her.
Go to the turtles, the turtles, you know, it's like the Miss America speech.
Yeah.
It was like
Miss I do Georgia. Know what you mean, I just don't know if I've ever seen it or heard it.
And there was like
that does sound painful.
5-minute compilation of every single she said in that sentence, like oh my god, this poor woman, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that hurts. The last thing for episode 18 is that we lost... So I'm going to try and do this more, because I used to just do, like, highlights of the clones, but now I might just do, like, a rest in peace of the clones. So in episode 18, we lost Longshot and Charger. Don't know anything about them. That's just for you all to look up if you missed it when you were watching.
5 other unnamed ones.
Yeah, in that one at least. So that was Longshot and Charger. We lost them in that one. That's so sad. Please Google if you feel like it. We are moving on to episode 19.
No, I'm replying to a couple text messages. I just got a bunch of them. I was like, oh crap, this is the work chat.
That's okay. I'm in like 3 group chats too. So I'll just get started on episode 19. It is called Counterattack. The fortune cookie for that one is anything that can go wrong will. I feel like that doesn't need any further explanation. It doesn't even really need any exploration for where it exists in Star Wars, because that immediately made me think of Canto Bite. It's all of Star Wars, but it made me immediately think of Canto Bite, because anything that could have gone wrong did. And it was the worst. Anyways.
2 words for you. Darth Vader.
Yeah, really. So this episode 19 is probably, I would say, the least deep part of this, because it's more of the escape, the act of trying to escape. So it's a lot more adventure-based, or not adventure, action-based. And this exposes another lost clone who unfortunately gets sliced in half. Do not know the name of that one. But it was during... do you know?
Slice and dicer.
Yeah. They were like the hatch doors were closing on Obi-Wan's group. And
you get
he
to,
unfortunately did not make it.
And that's so terrifying.
It's so sad. It's painful.
I was multitasking watching these episodes yesterday to get ready for the podcast, and I was sorting Legos because that's what I do in my free time. I love organizing my massive bins of Legos.
I love that. That's so funny.
Because if people don't know already, I'm getting I ordered a ton of Legos for Christmas because I don't really want anything else. I've already got, a lot of stuff that I want, and I'm always grateful for it, but it's just for Christmas, I've got a budget. I'm getting Legos.
Yeah, Christmas budget.
I've got a very, not a big story, but a grand story about this used Christmas Legos, but we'll finish up with this episode and I'll mention it.
Okay. The part that I would say was the second most interesting thing is that the Anakin's escape group had to go through a fuel pipeline, and he said the slightest electric pulse could ignite it. And that was just to me, it's very Anakin escape plan, first of all, but also so dangerous that I know that their whole job is, like, putting themselves in danger for the protection of others. But that just seemed really excessive. When they probably could have climbed on the outside, it looked like.
So, something also as well that I'd like to point out about the fuel line.
Mm-hmm.
They said, like, any spark, any electric charge could light this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
When Ahsoka popped her head out, and there was a droid there, and she cuts its arm off, sparks fall down into the fuel line.
Yeah.
And
also, Anakin's hand. What's that doing?
It might just run on, like, a neural thing.
Maybe it's just literally, like, attached.
Maybe it's just force. Maybe he's just using the force on that one.
That would be so funny.
Like,
yeah, like, shut it down.
Cybernetic. That's why it works so well.
That would be interesting. So, the quote that I took from this episode is from Tarkin, and he says, "Your Jedi resolve only delays the inevitable." I think he says that to or about Ahsoka, and, like, the methods that they're using as far as, like, not being overly aggressive with this escape. So, I think that quote plays true to a lot of the things that we see, a lot of the problems that we see, and why Anakin agrees with him, about how they need to, not how they need to, but how the Jedi do have that flaw of following the code so dearly that they run the expense of losing because they won't sacrifice a specific part of the code, which, to be fair, shouldn't even put them in the war in the first place, but it does. There's just, like, what? Oh. Elephant.
In the next minute,
look up at the light.
Next minute I might sneeze because it keeps, like, tickling at the back of my nose.
That's the worst.
Just sneeze, do it!
I hate that. I hate that. So.
I'm so mad. I'm angry.
Angry sneeze. So Tarkin and Anakin kind of figure out that they understand each other as far as the Jedi's lack of ability to go to lengths because of the code. Don't love that Anakin agrees with him, but it makes sense that Anakin agrees with him. And it doesn't matter how much I love Anakin and the good parts of him. He's a bad guy. Or Darth Vader. He becomes Darth Vader, who is a bad guy. And the most significant part of this episode is that this is where we lose Echo. And that's...
quote-unquote.
Sad. Yeah, quote-unquote.
When we quote-unquote lose Echo.
I didn't remember how significant it was in... Was it Cody or Rex? Whoever screamed his name. And was like, Echo! It was Fives? See, this is proof that I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I didn't look at who it was. I was just like, oh no, somebody's sad, and I took into account the sound rather than the visual. And
Echo was Fives' brother, they
were besties.
They were part of Domino Squad, and now
he's gone.
Now Fives is all that's left of Domino Squad. He's the last of it.
So it was sad, and and you know what? It's interesting that you say that because when I was writing it down, I was like, who did we lose? Fives or Echo? And then I was like, no, we obviously lost Echo. And so maybe that's where my brain was, it was Fives, who's his best buddy. So that's sad. And season 7?
In the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Arc, Fives is gone, and Echo's just like, where's Fives? Well, where is he? Where's my best friend?
That was so good.
It's like, I miss my best friend. I want to see him. I want my friend. And then,
now you're getting a little Australian.
Yeah. Oi, mate. Where's my best friend? Where's my best friend, mate?
Bringing some light to the loss of Echo, quote unquote.
And then he's like, I saw him die. It's like,
it's so sad.
That's real great.
Yeah.
That's really great.
That's great news.
Well, I have this cool robot on now, so I don't know.
And these cool, holes in my head. Let's move on. What?
I'm really excited for the Bad Batch. I'm really, really excited for the Bad Batch.
I don't know if I'm excited or not. I know that's
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for all of it, to be fair. I'm very more Star Wars excited. Holy crap, more Star Wars excited. But I think I'm most excited about Ahsoka.
Absolutely.
I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous for it. I don't know why.
I think I was literally thinking about this at work today. I think it's going to start off with, the scene from The Mandalorian where Ahsoka's like, Where's your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? And then it cuts, like, it doesn't cut away. She's just like, he's here, like, he's at this place. It's like, good. And then does whatever she does with her. Either kills her, lets her go, whatever.
I think she'll let her go.
Way, I think she would, but who knows? She might just be that freaking brutal. Or maybe she, like, let her go, and then...
And says, like, watch your back.
Something like that. Or I think the woman would, like, come back at her.
Yeah, like
then,
a very
Ahsoka has to, like...
Mando, spoiler alert, like a Moff Gideon.
Kill her, and then take the spear and give it to Mando.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened, but then I think she's going to get on board her cool ship that we see at the end of Rebels. And then...
I don't remember what that looks like.
It was at the very end. It was like one of the Jedi ships. It was like the one that rotates.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has like her Montreal patterns on it. Yeah. And then I think what it's going to do, and this might blow your mind, is it'll play the last scene from Rebels where Sabine is looking over the tower, and then you see her ship fly overhead, and then she's there and does the and takes Sabine with her because she's like, I know where Thrawn is. Let's go.
You might be onto something here. Because
they don't say explicably when that takes place. Dave Filoni was like, that doesn't explicitly take place right after the Battle of Jakku.
Yeah.
Or the Battle of Endor. That didn't happen right after. This could be 5 years after.
You've got a point there. Brody is shook.
Who would they get to play Sabine? Do you think they get the voice actress?
I've seen some speculation on that. I think the voice actress is the number one pick amongst fans right now. So,
well, of course.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But I think Rosario Dawson is perfect for a live-action Ahsoka.
She did so good.
She's so beautiful. Like, she's such a beautiful woman.
I just wish...
And, like, she's strong and just like, yes! Yeah. Awesome woman!
I do wonder... I know that... And this is no hate in any way, but, like, I wonder why they didn't do a dub of Ashley over Rosario Dawson.
I feel like that for so long, you would look unassociated.
You would what?
I feel like if the episode lasted so long with her voice over Ahsoka, like over Rosario, I feel like it would just look weird.
That's fair. That's fair. There definitely could have been, like, literal tangible issues with doing that.
It's very hard to do. It's a very hard practice to do, like, to do voiceover to perfectly
to live action.
To live action. Like, for one, it's cartoon and stuff, that's easy. But it's, like when Sam Witwer voiced over Ray Park in Solo.
Yeah.
Like, that probably took a lot of takes for him to get exactly the mouth movements of Ray Park.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot of effort. And, I will say, like, Ashley Eckstein is Ahsoka, but, there's just some things you gotta do.
Well, there's always room for more people in Star Wars, There's never enough.
Ewan McGregor didn't voice Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
No.
Donald Taylor did.
Yeah, because Ewan McGregor's busy.
Yeah, but, Anthony Daniels always plays C-3PO, so there's, like, exceptions.
But that's Anthony Daniels' life.
Exactly.
Again, no hate, but that's his life,
No hate, but, when you hear Anthony Daniels, you don't think, oh, that one ragtime film, that was really great. No, you think Star Wars.
Well, and I feel like,
So when you say Daniel Radcliffe, you always think of Harry Potter, and not, Swiss Army
there
Man.
are some people that just are that, and then there are other people that are like, that was just a role, or it's a role that means a lot to me, but it's not necessarily mine, and I won't fight not having it the whole time, which I don't think Anthony Daniels ever had to fight that, probably. He was probably like, yes, I'll be here, like, call me whenever,
The craziest thing is that my opinion of an actor has changed. Because I knew him as, oh, it's this guy from this movie, but then it changed into, oh, it's this guy from Star Wars.
What? Who?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because I knew him as a character called Buggin' Out from a movie called Do the Right Thing. And it's like a movie about, like, a small Brooklyn town that's like a black neighborhood, and it kind of goes into, like, the life. And it's called, like, Do the Right Thing. And it's a really good movie. If anyone's out there looking for, like, a good movie that's, like, pro POC, like a good movie about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch Do the Right Thing. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. And Giancarlo Esposito is really young in that movie, and he plays a really goofy character called Bugging Out because he always bugs out at everything.
That's funny. I love that.
Hearing him now hearing him then with such a young voice, and now hear him you have something that belongs to me.
Now he's like Moff Gideon voice.
Moff Gideon.
That's interesting. No, you have a good point because I'm the same way.
Now Giancarlo Esposito is Moff Gideon to me.
Yeah.
He's no longer bugging out to me. I'll still remember him as bugging out.
Mm.
But now when I think of him, I think Moff Gideon.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So we'll close out this episode with episode 20, the ending of the Citadel arc. It's called Citadel Rescue, and it's, quote, I don't know when my mom is going to be home. It'll probably be soon, so if she interrupts, that's my bad.
You always cut it out and continue.
Yeah, the fortune cookie at the beginning is without honor, victory is hollow. This makes me think of Tarkin, just in general, because he tends to, not only in Rogue One, but take credit for things that aren't necessarily his, but
take full credit on this battle station.
Yeah, he gets the victory from it, but he has no real honor in something like that, even though he definitely holds himself as if he has honor. I think that's a Tarkin facade. I don't think he actually has any honor, but his victories are hollow, which I think is probably why he keeps trying to have victories, because he has no honor. You see what I'm doing there? See what I did there?
I see. Oh. To Twiddle's mustache.
So, but you can tell I don't like Tarkin. Anyways.
Oh yeah, he's a big goon.
He's trash.
Oh, can
trash
I
man.
just quickly tell my Lego tangent real quick?
Your what?
My Lego segue. My Lego tangent that I was saying after the.
Let's do that.
Okay, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go through this episode 20.
Yeah. The first few things that happened, the ship was destroyed in the last one, and they called for backup while they were running away. And now they're just kind of wandering around these weird lava pools and trying to figure out where their rendezvous point will be.
Weird, yellowy lava pools.
Yeah, it's very interesting. At first I thought they were gas pools because the gas is kind of coming off of them, but I guess
stuff burns in them.
It's smoke, yep, and it burns in them. They want to... they discussed kind of what the Nexus route's importance was, and it's because they want the trade coordinates to launch an attack and cripple the Republic and the Jedi. By they, I mean Dooku and the Separatists. Dooku meets with OC, I think, in this one and the last one, just a couple times, and OC's obviously disappointing him. So he talked about that, which is interesting because...
It's not very hard to disappoint Count Dooku.
That's fair. He gets a lot of disappointment throughout all of Star Wars content. So that's interesting because, as we talked about earlier, all those junctions, they actually seem to be major junctions that we've heard of before. Like the Corellian, and there was another, Parlemian, and something else. There was another one. So it's interesting about that. Oh, you're fine. My neck is all sorts of crooked right now, so I've been stretching the whole time. I did get, so they kind of semi-escape, and then they get more droids on them, and got really emotional not really emotional. I got a little, choked up when the little battle droid said it was an honor to serve you to R2, and I was like, that's so
I know,
cute.
Oh god, the only battle droids ever
Yeah, I was like, they're so sweet, and R2 is so sweet, and he deserves that. So, that was cute. I hope everybody appreciated it the way that Brody and I obviously did. The character highlight for this episode is Saesee Tin, Master Tin.
Really? He appears for 2 seconds, though.
2 seconds, but I had never known his name, so I pick these based on me, not necessarily anybody else.
Huh? Only one reason why I know Saesee Tin.
Oh, I don't know him at all. So
there was an old Xbox game called Obi-Wan. It was just a story, a prequel story about Obi-Wan, before the Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
me and my old Star Wars game knowledge is not high.
I think I still have it somewhere. I gotta find it now.
Yeah, you'll have to show it to me.
Do a Let's Play! But
Yeah, I hadn't heard of him before. Well, I've heard of him before because I like look up the background Jedi Council members, but I hadn't heard his name said before, so I was like, oh, let's do him. So he is
in that game.
What?
Oh, sorry. In that game,
no, go ahead.
There was a mode where you get to like do like a battle arena, and you can pick from a bunch of different Jedi.
Oh, and he was in it.
Say Tin and Debbie Balaba were right next to each other,
Ooh.
so it was like Say Debbie Tin. Like I just kept swapping between them to make like the dumbest sounding.
Oh my god!
Say Debbie Debbie. Like just.
That sounds exactly like something you would do. I'm so not surprised.
When I was a little baby boy, I did it all the time.
Also, as an adult, you would do that.
Absolutely, I would just be sitting there.
Yeah, I would do it too. To be fair, that's funny. Is it Say or Say Tin?
I think it's Say or I think it's CC Tin.
Okay. So my mom just got here, and I'm gonna leave this in. But my mom just got here, and I got her baby Yoda for Christmas. And he's sitting on the couch, and she's so excited. That I think is a Mandalorian lithograph, like the Pocahontas ones that you got for me. I think it comes free with him. I didn't get my discount on him. I'm disappointed. I know, but it's okay.
Mom.
This is Brody, and to the audience.
Oh, hi, audience.
So. I got my brain. Say Tin is from Iktoch, the homeworld Iktoch. He does die 19 years before the Battle of Yavin on Coruscant.
Yeah, he gets killed by Papa Palpy.
Oh yeah, he's in the group of four.
He's one of the guys.
One of the guys
associated with Mace Windu.
Guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes, getting chopped in half by Sith Lords.
That's really all that I know about him, except for that he was a part of the blockade of Naboo. Oh, wait. Male Iktachi born on the moon Iktoch. So it's not even like a planet, it's a moon planet. I know that sounds mean.
His same species played a really cool bounty hunter guy in Resistance, and I really liked him.
Ah, I love that.
He was like really big too. He was just like super scary strong.
That's funny. This is the new thing that I learned from this is Tin also, alongside Adigalia, Plo Koon, and Kit Fisto, rescued what remained of the team and returned with them to Coruscant from the Citadel. And then the Water War. He was also with Fisto in the Water War, which is one of my other favorite episodes that we'll get to eventually.
I don't remember Sensei being in the Water War.
I didn't think so. It says Fisto, Anakin, and all other Republic troops were trapped in a losing battle against their opposition's superior strength provided by the Corn and Aqua droids. They contacted the temple, and I'm trying to find the specific part. Master Tin suggested that they contact the Gungans, who were an amphibious species with a standing army and planet located near Mon Cala. Okay, so he just helped fix the problem, but still.
Oh, okay.
That's important because those are things, that I don't know about. So Master Tin was kind of just a little highlight. Something that I would highly encourage people to look up, because I did not do it ahead of time, is the dog things that attack Evan Peel and are at the end of... What?
The Anubas.
That's what they're called?
Yeah.
They're disgusting.
Embo has one.
I hate them. They are the reason that...
The only one that I like is...
I just don't like their stupid tooth. It's creepy.
Yeah, but Embo has one.
Who's Embo?
Who's Embo?
Yeah.
He's the bounty hunter, the green one with the orange eyes, and he has the big
sorry.
bullets and stuff. You forgot Embo.
Sorry.
We're gonna have a very stern talk when this podcast is over. Cheyenne, mark my words.
I don't pay attention to the bounty hunters as much as I should. I'm sorry. I didn't know that he had one. That's cool. So the Anubas and the bug droids, those are cool. Cool and annoying. The thing that I would say I think struck me the most, obviously, was Evan Peel's death. And the fact that he made sure that Ahsoka knew her level of importance, not only for the sheer fact of he was, telling her this information that he had, but... Let's see. Okay, that's... literally not the guy I was even thinking of. So, thank you for the clarification.
Oh, well, there we go.
Because me and bounty hunters are not on the same page ever. So I'm glad you showed me that, because I would not have even known who you were talking about then. Ow! Dang it. So Evan tells Ahsoka the information. She admits her lie of not being there, and he's like, that's irrelevant. Like, you did what you had to do.
There it goes.
Oh.
There it is.
No, there's no. There we go. That was actually it.
That was it. All of my pain. Oh, you're gonna have to dim that one down a little bit.
All of the pain and the reward. No reward.
Continue.
I'm going. I think he's being excessive and also dying. So Evan tells Ahsoka the info. She admits her lie. He encourages her, and we get to the part where she brings him back, and they do like their honorary Jedi funeral / Viking funeral. But they move on just as quickly because...
That was so sad. That
what?
scene almost made me cry.
Oh.
Oh, God.
I thought you meant the sneeze. So they slackline right across all of that lava to get to their little extraction point. And... Oh, we have another conversation that kind of stuck with me, is Ahsoka picking up on Tarkin's shadiness and how Anakin kind of defends the thought process that Tarkin has and how he kind of agreed with him. And Obi-Wan was like, that's a little simple-minded, don't you think? Or a simple point of view. And I think that is important. And even though it's kind of glossed over in that tiny conversation, I feel like conversations like that are the root of those three characters, and I do wish that... I think that if conversations like that had more depth brought to the episodes, that we would have seen kind of the thought process in Anakin a little bit longer. I know that that's kind of hard to do just in general, because the Clone Wars in and of itself is the thought process of all of them. So, and that lasted pretty long. So I get the point, but I also think that those little conversations are important. In the end, excuse me, Ahsoka ends up killing Ozai, whatever his name might be, and says they get back to Coruscant and says that her job, Evan made her promise that her job was to pass the information on to the council, and Tarkin says, well, I was supposed to bring it directly to Palpatine, and what a what?
What a goon.
Yeah, and Yoda says, I'll meet with him, because Yoda's like, I got it. And in the end, Anakin was like, hey, Plo Koon, did you tell Ahsoka to come on this mission? And Plo stood up for her and said, it looks like I did. And Plo, honestly, so underrated.
Top tier Jedi. That's why he's my favorite Jedi. What did I tell you on like the first ever podcast I was in? You were like, oh, what's your favorite Jedi? I was like, I bet a lot of people get this, but Plo Koon.
Yeah, and I said like, nobody says that.
I heard like Plo Koon once.
Yeah, one other time.
From our friend Plo Koon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Plo Koon. You really are cool.
You really are cool. You're very funny too. And then in the end, we see one of my other favorite moments from the end of this is obviously when Tarkin and Anakin shake hands, and there's just a little taste of the Vader theme. Just a little taste. And it was... I love when it plays like that in the background. That's probably one of my favorite Star Wars things that happens. And that's it. That's the end of the Citadel arc. They had a really cool rescue. We had a lot of loss in those episodes that don't really settle in until later on when they come back to haunt us. And oh my god. I'm so sorry that's definitely getting picked up. That was the...
What was that?
You know how, like, the ice machine has to, like, shoot water to freeze it?
Oh, yes.
It was that. It scared me. But that is
sometimes,
all... What?
In the middle of the night, since my bedroom is, like, directly above the fridge, I hear the ice going into it, so I just hear, like...
I'm trying to... But that is all for the Citadel arc, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Brody, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to tell the people where they can find you? Because we are over my time limit.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at TK50015.
Nice. You can find me at CJerica on Instagram, at CJerica95 on Twitter, and at thekybercrystal.wordpress.com. Crystal does have 2 L's in it. I have not uploaded there in a while, but there is a lot of backlog content that you can read through. And I think my photography and stuff is also on there still. You can reach the main channel, Kessel Run Weekly, at Kessel Run Weekly on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. There is a Facebook group called the Kessel Crew. We don't post in there super often, but we try to get some polls out. We do some spoiler talks and reviews. Maybe I'll start sharing the podcast episodes there so that we get at least a little bit more shared traffic. And I think that's it. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to be on an episode, I still am available to do character chats as well. I have a couple of those lined up. Please feel free to reach out to the Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me, either at CJerica or at Kessel Run Weekly. Thank you all so much for listening, and Brody and everybody else, may the Force be with you.
Always.